Hare Krishna to everybody. Welcome to our Sundara class. Thank you for coming all, and I'm happy to be here in your glorious place, Brussels, capital of European Union. It's very wonderful. And this program has been established by Srila Prabhupada himself, Sundara Feast, at early days of ISKCON in 1966. At first Hare Krishna temple in the Western world, much less gift, it's called much less gift shop, on the 2nd Avenue, on 22nd Avenue. And this place reminds me 2nd Avenue. It's like same design, narrow passage, like very small room, and Prabhupada used to sit at the end of the room, and all hippies, they are coming. Prabhupada will give class, inspire them. It was early years of ISKCON, and we are here now celebrating 50th anniversary of ISKCON. So okay, let us follow in best traditions of Srila Prabhupada, and we'll read Bhagavad Gita today and discuss today's topic is whether happiness exists or not. Would like to talk about happiness?
Yes.
Something? Yeah. And I will read from Bhagavad Gita because Bhagavad Gita is absolutely unique book. It is timeless ancient wisdom of ancient India, and by the opinion of our acharyas, Bhagavad Gita considered to be summary study of entire Vedas and conclusive truth of all Vedic literature. And also, Acharya saying that Bhagavad Gita is like highest instructions which are leading toward ultimate goal of life, which is Krishna Prema. There is some wonderful glorification of Bhagavad Gita in Gita Mahatmya. It is saying that Bhagavad Gita is like the essence of all Upanishads. It is saying that Sarva Upanishada Gaura, Doktha Gopala Nandana, Partha Vatsa Sudhya Bhokta, Dutha Gitamrita Mahat. Means Bhagavad Gita is like essence of all Upanishads, Gita Upanishad. It is sometimes called Gita Upanishad. And it compared to cow. And Krishna is like a famous cowherd boy, which is milking this cow. And Arjuna is like a cow, which drinks this nectarian milk from Bhagavad Gita. It's a wonderful analogy. So today we will discuss the topic of happiness, and happiness, it is like fundamental, essential, let's say, search in our life for all living entities, because we are pleasure-seeking being, so we're looking for happiness in this world, isn't it? It is saying Anandamaya Bisat, ancient aphorism from the Vedanta Sutra. And everything in our life, all our actions and all our activities, thoughts, feelings, everything behind all our activities, one motivation: I want to be happy. So we can make an experiment. So whatever you bring up, I'll draw parallel. For example, I scratch my ear. So I scratch my ear. What I'm doing? What am I doing? I want to be happy. Perhaps two things. I want to be happy, and I want to avoid suffering. Yeah? So there's two things in our life. You agree? Yeah? So this is like crucial thing, and all of us, we are searching for happiness in this life, and it is like an eternal principle or natural disposition of the soul. So although we tirelessly look for that from time immemorial in this world, but we can't find it. Yeah? It is paradox in our life. And so this essence of my life, I came down here to find this happiness. And Srila Prabhupada said, living entities never stop trying to gain happiness in this material world. And since we are living in Brussels, which is, let's say, capital of sense gratification. Yeah, so many sense gratifications going on here, and they are available here in different modes of nature. Yeah, you see, if you go, you can see it's various propositions, various offerings to us. And is that connected to happiness, the sense gratification? How do you think? Is it similar or is it something different? How do you think?
Temporary happiness.
I mean, two things: happiness and sense gratifications. So,
Sense gratification leads to happiness.
leads to happiness. Are you agree? Are you
No,
sure?
I don't agree, but this is what generally is human tendency. You
Oh.
gratify your senses because you want yourself to be happy, but
Yeah.
rather you're only appeasing your senses. You're not feeding the soul. It's only
Yes.
for the body that you're doing.
Yeah, that's what people think about. Yeah, they think if we gratify our senses, if we please our senses, so we become happy.
Yeah, that's what we think, but that's
That's
not
a prominent
actually the
idea.
fact. Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's true, but then many times also there is some aftertaste which is not so happy.
Yeah, aftertaste is all the suffering.
Isn't it? I'm quite happy when I get my ice cream, but not when I finish eating it and I'm want more, but my money is finished.
Yeah, this is a prominent example. Prabhupada used to bring this. So we'll discuss it. Let's read us from 18th chapter. By the way, epigraph story about John Lennon, one of the greatest personalities from Beatles, from musical band. He has been asked once, whom you would like to be in your life? He's been asked. And he was thinking for a moment and he said, I want to be happy. That's a clever answer. So this is essence of our life, and let's discuss it. We'll read from chapter 18, Perfection of Renunciation, and text number 36. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Sanskrit translation prepared by His Divine Grace of Hashivana Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sukham Puridanim Trivikham Shrimune Bharata Shabha Abhyasad Ramati Yatra Dukhantam Cha Nigashvati. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. O best of the Bharatas, now please hear from me about the three kinds of happiness which the conditioned soul enjoys and by which he sometimes comes to the end of all distress. That which is in the beginning may be just like poison. Yeah, that's it. But at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization is said to be. I'm sorry, it's a different verse. I will read another one. Krishna. Happiness. Three kinds of happiness. Just one moment. Okay, let's read this one. No problem. Start again. O best of the Bharatas, now please hear from me about the three kinds of happiness which the conditioned soul enjoys and by which he sometimes comes to the end of all distress. That which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. Small purport here. A conditioned soul tries to enjoy material happiness again and again. Thus he chews the tube but sometimes in the course of such enjoyment he becomes relieved from material entanglement by association with the great soul. In other words, a conditioned soul is always engaged in some type of sense gratification, but when he understands by good association that it is only a repetition of the same thing, and he is awakened to his real Krishna consciousness, he is sometimes relieved from such repetitive so-called happiness. In the pursuit of self-realization, one has to follow many rules and regulations to control the mind and the senses, and to concentrate the mind on the self. All these procedures are very difficult, bitter like poison, but if one is successful in following the regulations and comes to the transcendental position, he begins to drink the real nectar and he enjoys life. So by the way, the another Bhagavad is two words are separate, but here they are combined. So we read it together. Anyway. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnana
Shakaya Shakshara
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhisham Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadasva Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Tabhagamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shta Shri Devam Sakarajatam Sahaganathanat Kanditam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Varitam Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Saranam Varitam Shri Vishakam Vitam Sham He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bhavam Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tata Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamani Haripriya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavim Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna 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 Bhakti Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharya I see it's like a biggest community in Europe, in Brussels, because wherever I'm doing programs, so new people come, new group of people. So if combined together, it's like become biggest community in Europe. Okay, so Krishna answering here. So does happiness exist or not? Krishna saying here, yes, it exists. Good news. So we have happiness in material world, and this is happiness available in three forms. So not only one happiness, but the three. Wow, that's awesome. It's a nice arrangement. So we have three types of happiness here. Trividham Sukham, Krishna said, by which the conditioned soul enjoys. Not bad. So three types of happiness here we can choose, since we have free choice. Yeah? And let's look at all of them one by one. We can examine it and start from the bottom one, from the first one. So three kinds of happiness. That's called samsara sukham, or happiness which experiencing in circle of repeated birth and death. Samsara, you know. So Maya offers us three types, three gunatmika, in three modes of material nature, because everything in this world in three modes: ignorance, passion, and goodness. Yeah? Happiness also. So Krishna said in 39 text of this chapter, he describes number one happiness. I mean from the bottom. That's up to you. Which number is that? So he said, that happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to the end, and which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion, is said to be the nature of ignorance. So this first one, material nature offers to us. Sukham mohanam atmanam, this happiness sukham is atmanam mohanam atmanam. That means illusion for the soul. So here we are in material world, and we have this happiness in mode of ignorance, illusory happiness, in other words. When something takes, when takes desired, takes for real, for natural. Something we take for which is not. That's kind of illusory happiness, illusory sense of happiness, let's say. And Prabhupada explained here that for the person in the mode of ignorance, everything is illusion, and for him there is no happiness, either at the beginning or at the end. And of course, whoever is situated in the mode of ignorance, he can experience this type of happiness. And Prabhupada explained further, one who takes pleasure in laziness and in sleep is certainly in the mode of ignorance, of darkness. Nidralasya pramadatam tat tamasam udahritam. Tamasam means ignorance. Sometimes people want just to do nothing. Some of the people say, I don't want to do anything, I want to do nothing. That's kind of happiness, which is in mode of ignorance. That's a standard for this type of persons. And also it is explained that one who has no idea how to act and how to not act is also under the influence of ignorance. Something which is not, but it takes for that. In mode of ignorance, basically we accept suffering for pleasure. It's one of the characteristics of avidya. Avidya means ignorance. And Srila Vishwanath Thakur in Madhurya Kadambini, in his book, he explains that one of the 4 symptoms of avidya or ignorance, we take suffering for pleasure. You see. Is anybody remembers other 3 symptoms of avidya? Maybe somebody heard about that? No? Would you like to know? So he said, when we take impure for the pure, or ignorance for knowledge, or taking oneself for what we not, like, for example, we taking ourselves for the body, for this material body, and also suffering for bliss. That's called avidya, and basically this happiness is based on this concept. So we try to enjoy it by our own suffering. Like, for example, people like to take drugs, intoxication, meat, or commit violence towards others. So this kind of happiness in the mode of ignorance. You understand? I'll give you some example. Like, for example, statistic in USA. Slaughtering of animals every day. 90,000 cows. 90,000 cows every day. 120,000 abortions, or 60,000 animals slaughtering every day. It's like statistic for a few years back. Maybe now it's increased. So it's like a death factory. Yeah? So this is a kind of mode of ignorance. Happiness is mode of ignorance. And also in the Google, there is interesting information I found also a few years back. It is new island appeared in the Pacific Ocean. New island, but it's huge. It's like bigger, 1.5 times bigger than Europe by square of miles. It's a huge, and it is consist of what? From plastic items. Huge island. It's like a continent, 1.5 times bigger than Europe in Pacific Oceans. There is no stream. It's like a Pacific still water, and there are huge new continent. Plastic continent. And it is explained that from the both continents, from Asia and from America. Every day they discard like 1.5 million plastic items every day. Discard in the ocean. Another example. Modern culture offers us Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is a famous beverage. And Coca-Cola company recently disclosed a secret formula of this beverage. After 150 years or something. And this beverage contains 8% of alcohol. 8% in Coca-Cola. You see, it's like in beer, same. So this is a very expensive type of happiness. We have to pay price, and our price is suffering for this type of happiness. Like Prabhupada said, it is a great illusion to think that we become happy by engaging in sinful activities. So this happiness in a mode of ignorance. Just brief characteristic because we don't have the time. So we're going for the next kind of happiness, which is explained by Krishna in text 38, same chapter. He said, that happiness which derived from contact of the senses with their objects, it is saying Vishayendriya Samyogat, union of the senses with the object of the senses, and which appears like a nectar at first, but poison at the end. Yadyat agre mrito pamam pariname visham iva. Visham, poison. Amritam at the beginning, but then visham, like a poison. So this happiness in the mode of, which mode is it? Passion, yeah. So this is mode of passion. Sukham rajasam smritam. So this is like a main characteristic of this type of happiness. Nectar at the beginning, then it's like a poison. And that's what we're normally looking for in this material world. We want quick fix, we want quick happiness. Eh? That's what material nature or modern culture offers to us. That's called prayers or momentarily happiness. We want now, here, this happiness, we want to experience now. So that's called prayers. And another one is called shreyas. Shreyas is ultimate happiness, ultimate goal of life. That's not going to come so quick, like this one. And it is natural for the senses to be in contact with the object of the senses. It is saying that they're like a bolt and nut. They're always together, senses and object of the senses. And we know the 10 senses described in Sankhya Yoga, like knowledge inquiring senses, Gyanendriya, and working senses, or Karmendriyas. Anybody knows it. And then
I would be surprised if everybody could not name them all. Maybe we can go over them.
Would you like to know all of them? Like eyes, ears, tongue, nose, yeah, touch, what it's called, touch, yeah, basically touch. And then working senses, legs, hands, genitals, and that's it.
Two more.
Huh?
Two more.
Two more.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 legs, two hands.
There is two more.
There is 2 more. Okay, tell.
No, I don't know. I wanted to know.
You tell.
I don't know.
You don't know.
I'm not sure about the last two. I will find it in Bhagavad Gita. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so this is 2 senses. The quick description, and then 5 objects of the senses. 5 objects. That's called tanmatra. Would you like to know them? Probably you know.
The object of the sense is clear. Huh? What you see.
Clear. That's clear. Rupa, Gandha, Shabda, Sparsha, and Rasa. Rasa means taste. Sound. Rupa means form, touch, and everything. So this is objects and their senses on the other side. So they're having contact, and this is kind of happiness which we want to experience in such consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada explained, giving some common example. A young man and young woman young girl meet, and the senses drive the young man to see her, to touch her, to have sexual intercourse. In the beginning, this may be very pleasing to the senses, but at the end, or after some time, it becomes like a poison. Because the separation, the divorce, and sorrow and lamentation, so many things. We know this. We experience it. Russian saying goes, some Russian saying, from love to hatred, just one step. It's a Russian saying. I don't know if you heard something, I mean, if you have anything else like that. And with an example like Prabhu brought up about ice cream. Yeah. Would you like some ice cream?
Yeah.
Yeah? Ice cream is good, yeah? Mm-hmm. Which one you want? Butterscotch or Baskin Robbins or chocolate one or with nuts, with whatever, yeah? So, is anybody offered to you some wonderful ice cream? So it's very good, yeah? You'll take it, yeah? And you will enjoy it. And first one is like a super good, yeah? It's like blissful, delicious, you know, like it's amazing, yeah? Extreme condensed bliss. First one is very good, but then again, free proposition for your second one. You will take it, second. If you take second one, and try to enjoy the second one. It's not gonna be so sumptuous or delicious like first one, but still it's okay. We can eat it. It's okay, no problem. Then third one for free. You should not pay. You just take it for free. And third one is it's like a normal, nothing there, nothing special. Just and then fourth one. And then ask him to eat you, and fourth one will be like cold and just on the ice, nothing there, and just like disgusting. Yeah. And fifth one, even I'll give you money, you don't take it. That's a material happiness. So this Prabhupada used to bring such example like that's called Chapala Sukha. Chapala means flickering, or how to say, Chapala, like illusory, slips through the fingers. You try to catch it, but it goes through the fingers and disappears. Or sometimes it's called Bhoga Tyaga. Bhoga Tyaga means we have to take a break in between our enjoyment. We take a break, then we can enjoy again. But we can't enjoy permanently. We have to take a break, stop, and then, because our sense is not so powerful to experience all the time this happiness, this material happiness. And modern culture offers to us this type of happiness and in unlimited variations. Like saying goes, varieties is the mother of enjoyment. Yeah? And that's motto of new generation now. Yeah? So we encouraged by internet, by TV, mass media, by flashing lights and banners and adverts, everywhere. They're advertising this kind of enjoyment for us. Play hard, work by, consume and die, mass consumerism, rat racing, all these things. So this is what modern culture advertised for us. As much as we consume, to that much we can be happy. So they're saying to us, like, or for example, successful person or happy person measured by the ability to consume the goods, how much amount of goods he can consume. To that much he can be called happy person. And also there is a story of from Beatles again. When Beatles at some point of history they've been like popular, like on the top of material happiness, achieved everything, like they have everything, success, material happiness and glory and fame and millions of followers and everything. At some point of the history they even been more popular than Jesus Christ, sometimes saying. And George Harrison said once, when they've been on the top, he said, there is nothing, don't try for it. So we're on the top of success, but there is nothing, it's just void. Nothing there, no happiness, no peacefulness, no satisfaction. And that's material happiness. And in USA there is some class of people which is called successful malcontent. Have you heard of it? Malcontent meaning dissatisfied or disappointed person, but he's successful in how to say in the social perspective. He is very successful. He has career, or family, good family. He has a bank account and good friends and everything. But he is malcontent. He's dissatisfied with his life. He's disappointed with everything because he tried hard. He achieved everything, but there is nothing again. And among those people, it's like a very high rate of suicide. So people very successful, they have everything, but they don't know what more in their life. Because remember, we said that it's like a nectar at the beginning, but then it's poison at the end. And then person become attached, and then again same thing. Like Prahlad Maharaj, he said, Punah Punara Charvita Charvanana. So we chewing the chewed, same thing again and again. So this is very brief description of second type of happiness. Let's conclude by saying from Bhagavad Gita, from fifth chapter, where Krishna said, Yehi samsparsha jambugi dukhayona evate adi antavanta kauntiya nateshwaramate budhaya. He said, an intelligent person does not take part in the sources of miseries which are due to contacts with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. Wise man does not delight in them, because pleasures based on contact, like we said, of senses with the object of the senses, and these objects are the source of miseries, but actually they disguised as the object of the enjoyment, but actually the sources of miseries. Dukhayona evate, Krishna said. Therefore, wise man does not delight in them. So there is a happiness of the nature of passion. Sukham smritam. So the third type of happiness. In Bhagavad Gita, in text 37, we already read it. That which is beginning, in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like a nectar. It is saying, Visham iva pariname mritopamam. Yes. So first Visham, at the end Amrita. So first Visham means poison, and then it's like opposite. So at the beginning it's just like a poison, but at the end it's like a nectar. And which awakens one to self-realization, Atma Buddhi. It is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. Sukham, Satvikam, Proktam. So mode of goodness, happiness. So let us discuss this one. How it comes into being, this kind of happiness. By observing different rules and regulations, by following some discipline, by doing some spiritual practice, so we can control our senses, our mind, we can concentrate our mind on our inner self, so we try to make our spiritual progress and so on and so forth. And this type of happiness connected with a lot of austerities, with a lot of tapasya. You see, you have to control senses, you have to control your mind, you have to do some discipline, rules and regulations and things like that. So this is happiness and mode of goodness. And Srila Prabhupada explained, all these procedures are very difficult and it's bitter like a poison. But if one is successful in following the regulations and comes to transcendental position, he begins to drink real nectar and he enjoys life. So when one comes to transcendental position, by successfully following the discipline, yeah, but then begins the real nectar. Not before that, but meanwhile, now we're doing all our discipline, our spiritual practice, and everything based on moderation. So we have to be very balanced. We have to regulate our life. We have to follow rules, regulations. We have to avoid these things. We have to follow that. So many things. Big tapasya, early wake up, early to bed, early to rise, makes one wealthy, healthy, and wise, like saying. Yeah? So we have to do a lot of things. Control our mind, concentrate our mind. Quite boring. Eh? Sounds boring. Eh? Or it's okay for you. That's what we're looking for. I mean, it's a very good one because it's that real. I mean, this happiness is awakens for self-realization. That one is positive one. But still, is it really happiness? It's just tapasya. You know? It's just austerities, and it's like poison at the beginning. Not easy. Not easy. Is anybody feel same? Or only me? Like discipline is always, you know, it's a poison. It's very difficult. It's a sea life. You have to regulate it.
You just quickly get beyond the beginning.
Huh?
The only thing you have to do is to quickly get beyond the beginning, because only in the beginning it's poison.
Yeah. But you have to drink this poison. You can't avoid it.
Yes, but just quickly drink it. Just like when you are ill. When you are ill, you take a medicine and you're better. But what good is not taking it?
No, not taking it, don't speak about it. We already spoken, we already discussed it. So we're speaking about this one. But you have to pass through this period of time. You have to drink it, you have to experience it. It's like a churn in the milk ocean, you know, when first poison comes. And that poison was very venomous. You know.
But what I meant to say is that Srila Prabhupada said we are supposed to get beyond that beginning level, and preferably not too late, so quite soon.
You mean we should not start there?
It's very important. Yeah, he says this is a dangerous position because you can have enough of it because it's so bitter. So therefore he insists that we quickly get there where it's not poisonous anymore. So Srila Prabhupada is stressing. So you should you should do that properly so that you get higher taste. So and then
that's
the next starts.
That's a solution.
So you can't afford to stay with not having higher taste, because how long can you be without higher taste? So if there is no higher taste coming, you should quickly go to a spiritual doctor like you or anybody who is a bit advanced and find out why you're not experiencing the higher taste. Why it remains so long, so bitter. Normally
because there's so much poison sometimes. It's up to individuals, you see. We want to come pass through this period of time very quick, but sometimes so much poison because we accumulated for million lifetimes these things. Now we have to experience it, we have to wash it away, you know. Maybe it's quick for somebody, but for somebody it's slow process, like myself. This is model goodness, yeah. If you are successful in following these procedures, this discipline, meaning that you satisfy with very minimum things. You're sleeping, you're eating, or recreation. Again, in model of goodness there is no sex. So, like Krishna said in 6th chapter, Yukta Hara Viharasya Yukta Yukta Chestasya Karmasya Yukta Bodhasya Yogo Bhavati Dukha. Who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation and work can mitigate, not cancel but mitigate, all material pains by practicing yoga system. So this is model goodness. So you have to regulate these things, mitigate material pains, and satisfy this very minimum, whatever comes naturally in your life. So not without over endeavoring for things, you know. And then, if you're okay, then you become satisfied. When you're satisfied, it is saying here, prasadam jam. So it's born out of satisfaction. This happiness is born out of satisfaction. When you balance, when everything is okay, so whatever comes naturally in your life, without ever endeavoring, over endeavoring, so and you accept it and you're satisfied, then that's a happiness and mode of goodness. You see, that's how Krishna explained it. That's sattvic, sukha sattvikam proktam. Is it really what we want? Is it really what we're looking for? I mean, it's better than previous to above mentioned, but still there is no dynamic, you know, ever increasing, intense bliss. There is no such a thing like that. It's just satisfaction, kind of. You're satisfied with whatever comes in your life, so you're okay, not a problem. Of course, it's better than frustration, sorrow, and lamentation, but or maybe a passionate happiness, which is at the beginning like a nectar, but then like a poison. Yeah? So you have to pay a price, in other words. And as we said, although it is awakens one to the self-realization, atma buddhi, but still it is moderated happiness. It is very, you know, like kind of limited. So you have to balance your life, you have to balance your habits, your spiritual practice. It's quite boring. Does anybody feel like that?
Oh, spiritual life is very interesting.
Spiritual life, yes, but we did not come yet to the spiritual life. We just on the level of regulation, rules and regulations. I mean, it's just beginning, like a dawn before the sunrise. So it's like beginning. But we're not against this life. That's okay, because it's preliminary stage for the, because it's the same like at the beginning it's like a poison, then it's like a nectar. So we have to accept this medicine. But still, fact is that it's not a real happiness. Yeah, it's not what we're looking for. Ultimately, yeah? I mean, because you want ocean of happiness, yeah? Unlimited happiness, ever increasing nectar, yeah? Transcendental bliss, not just few drops somewhere in the desert of material existence. Yeah. So we want ocean of bliss, or even sometimes it's called like illusory mirage or reflection or shadow of happiness. So we don't want any fake happiness, any surrogate happiness. We want real happiness, yeah? We want real bliss. And those three above mentioned won't give any real pleasure for the soul, as far as you notice. Yeah? Are you agree? You agree? Yeah? So where is the real happiness? So you see, in the material world, as we examine all these three, there is no happiness at all. Where is the real happiness? Huh? How do you think? Does happiness exist or not? So we studied these three kinds of material happiness, and we didn't find any real genuine happiness. So that's the conclusion. What's the conclusion? So we can say that it does not exist in material world, in material atmosphere. It is beyond. So in material world there is no happiness for the soul in three modes, as we examine. And we can get some satisfaction, the top one, in mode of goodness, but it's not real happiness. And Srimad Bhagavatam confirms that Lord Rishabhadev told to his sons, Tapo divyam putrakayenam sattvam shudhet yasma brahma sukhyam tu anantam. He said, there is eternal blissful life which is transcendental to material happiness and which continues forever. That's called Brahma Sukhyam. So he brings us to another, an essential new level. Sense gratification, which is called material happiness, is available, he said, even for dogs and hawks that eat stool. That's what he said. And Krishna confirms it in Bhagavad Gita. he said, which is beginning may be just like poison, but then at the end like a nectar. And that's called Brahma Sukhyam, like Rishabhadev Maharaj also said. So there is more happiness, and this happiness is beyond of three modes of material nature, three sukham, three vidham sukham, which are available in material world. And Krishna describes in Bhagavad Gita, in another verse, in 18th chapter also, he said, Brahma bhutam prasanatmam nasochati nakankshati samah sarveshu bhutushu bhaktim lapati param. So he explained one person who, transcendentally situated, and at once realizes Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful, he never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward every living entity. So there is characteristic of this person, he is a prasanatma, he is a fully joyful. You see, that person, he is a beyond of three modes, he attained level of Brahma Bhuta. Brahma Bhuta means level of Brahman. He is higher than any material situation in this material world. So that's it, that's the happiness. Haribo, Jai, we found happiness. So, how is he joyful? And it can be characterized by a statement from Upanishads. It is saying, Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi means I am a spirit, I am an eternal soul, I am a happy person, I am not this material body. Aham Brahmasmi, you know this statement. I am spirit, therefore I am free from matter. I don't have any relation to matter, any connection with that. Therefore, for me there is no repeated circle, birth and death, karma, or sense objects. I am not interested in that. Sense objects, time does not influence upon me, threefold miseries, samsara, karma, everything in this world. So I am free of that. So because I am spirit, I am Aham Brahmasmi. I am beyond of that. I am free from matter, that's why I am happy. Truly happiness is within, like written on your screen outside, on the window outside. Truly happiness is within, yeah? And that's a formula. So I am self-sufficient, I am satisfied person because I am spirit, I am not this material body. By the nature I am Atmarama. Atmarama means I am self-sufficient, I am satisfied. So I am experience or derive happiness from my soul, my inner self, my inner I. Is it okay? This is good happiness, yeah? How do you think? Is it good enough for the soul to be happy? How do you think? So if we try to attain this type of happiness, will we be satisfied, everything will be covered for us? Or how do you think? Is it okay? Does anybody want such happiness? Huh? Brahma Sukhyam. Yeah? It's a good one. So we have free choice. So we have Trividha Sukham, Samsara Sukham, we have Brahma Sukham. So everyone chosen last one, Brahma Sukhyam. And it turns out that we need something more, tell you honestly. Brahma Sukhyam is good. I am free from all these miseries of material life, threefold miseries, time, and three modes of nature, whatever, material body, material elements, but still we need a little bit more for the soul. It's not enough, because happiness of the soul based on relationships. In Brahman realization, there is no relationships. There is no positive dynamic happiness which we experience through the relationships. Family, society, friendship, love, all these things which are important. And that's what we're looking for. And you see, we have all these things in material world. We have friendship, society, whatever relationships, different types. And but they're imperfect. They have two, let's say, imperfect in two ways. I mean, in many ways, but we can just tell about two things. So first of all, they are materially motivated. All these things are materially motivated. Therefore, they're meant for my own sense gratification. They're egoistic. Yeah? Egoistic, egocentric, materially motivated, or fruitive. Yeah? For myself, only for my pleasure. And second one is they're temporary. Yeah? Adi antavantah kauntiya. They have beginning and they have the end. So that's why material relationship, like Prabhupada said, there is divorce, there is separation, there is lamentation, sorrow, and all these things. So imperfect, so much pain with material relationships. And Brahman realization is just absence of all these miseries of material world. So we don't have threefold miseries, karma, material elements, repeated birth and death, reincarnation and things. We don't have, but absence of these things, but there is no dynamic loving exchange, loving relationships, intense bliss. That's what we're looking for. But we are essential living beings. So we're looking for pleasures in our life. Anandamaya Desat, saying in Upanishads. Therefore, we look for pleasure, not just void or emptiness or shanta, nothingness. Maybe it's relief from material suffering, but it's not enough for the soul. So we want something positive, something progressive, dynamic, and so on. So relationships, or in other words, rasa. So we need some rasa, we need some taste in our life. Mellows, we want to enjoy some different mellows, varieties of mellows. So rasa, that's what drives the soul, makes us to carry on. And because we can't be in the middle of nowhere, we need to experience something, like Prabhu said. If there is no higher taste, so we're going to fall down to the lower taste. We can't stay in the middle somewhere and experience all this kind of austerity and moderation and discipline. There is no taste. Tasteless life. And therefore in material atmosphere, material society, there is a chapala sukha, like we said. The flickering, deluding or unstable rasa. What is called? Ever reducing rasa, how to say? Disappearing all the time. And in Brahman there is shanta, there is no positive, dynamic, transforming experience. And all we need is love, or rasa, like Josh Harrison said. All we need is love. So what Krishna said further, he said, in the same verse, he said, Mad bhaktim labhate param. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. So pure devotional service. So we came to the right conclusion. And pure devotional service, this is a real spiritual relationships. And that is the source of happiness for the soul. So this is solution. Therefore, Rupa Goswami, he mentioned 3 types of happiness in broader perspective. He said, there is material happiness, which is samsara sukha. There is Brahma Saukhyam, which is happiness of Brahman realization. Also spiritual transcendental happiness, but then something more higher, which is called Bhakti Sukhyam. And Bhakti Sukhyam means happiness which derives from the devotional service to the Lord. So he takes us on a more higher level. This is Bhakti Sukham, and it derives from devotional service. Like Krishna said in, I'll make conclusion. Like Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita in 9th chapter, he said, Sukham kartum avya. This is ever experience, ever increasing happiness, or it is joyfully performed. Yeah. And just to make conclusion, so we'll come to the end of our presentation. And Prahlad Maharaj, he said, he gave to us formula of happiness. Prahlad Maharaj. Would you like to know formula of happiness?
Okay.
Yeah? It is for free today. I don't take any money for that. So Prahlad Maharaj said, we become happy when we forget, listen carefully, our own happiness. We become happy when we forget our own happiness. So this is paradoxical a little bit. As soon as we start to make a plan to become happy, so we're causing our own distress. So that's the paradoxical thing. Because everything is upside down in the material world. So-called our happiness is not meant actually for us, but it's meant for body. It's bodily happiness. We're not this body. And it's like Prabhupada always giving some example. When we cut off our fingers from the hand, or if we put some food on the nails, try to experience some nourishment. So we have to put our food in the stomach. Yeah? Therefore, we are eternally with God. So we connected with God. We never separated. And only devotional service to Him can bring unlimited amount of ever-increasing happiness. Because Supreme Lord, He is the reservoir of all pleasure. He is source of all happiness. He is the cause of all blisses. Yeah? So if we just try to serve Him, then we merge into a limitless nectarian ocean of intense transcendental bliss. Because He is the cause of all blisses, cause of all rasa and everything. That's called, according to Rupa Goswami, it's called Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu means nectarian ocean of different mellows of devotional service to the Lord. So that's called Bhakti Sukhyam and Brahmanda or previous or Brahma Sukhyam. This is transcendental happiness. It is compared to just amount of water in the footprint of the calf in comparison with this unlimited ocean of happiness, which is Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And it's just insignificant drop out of this ocean. So that's what we're looking for. And we're looking for right things, but in the wrong place. So material world is not place for happiness. There is no happiness at all. So all we need is love, Krishna, like George Harrison said. So Krishna, He is the supreme object of our love and our happiness. So we're meant for Krishna. We're not meant for Brussels or for Antwerp or for Kiev or whatever place in this world. So we're meant for Krishna. We're meant for His service. We're meant to serve Him. We're meant for love, for play, and we're meant for dancing with Krishna. So this is our ultimate goal of life, and this is real happiness, which we can derive from devotional service. And this is unlimited. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.